ladies and gents, is Grant Davis from the London Cab Drivers Club. If you'd like to come up and say a few words about your organisation, the members you represent, some of the challenges and some of the opportunities.
Good evening, nice to see you all here. As a Reform member, I'm really glad we're having this night tonight. It's a great step in the right direction. I find it a bit awkward talking to you like this as a cab driver, so if I'm here, No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I like that. Well, I'm not as good a speaker as that guy there. I thought he was exceptional, and well done, and well done. The cab trade's come up against TfL on more than one occasion, and like you said, with the two-tier system, they go to an appeal, and all of a sudden it's completely, overturned the initial decision. But I wasn't going to make notes today. But I thought, if I was just to stand here with no notes and talk to you about the state of London's roads, I'd probably end up getting so annoyed after a minute, I would just storm off, right? And Alex would say, come back, So I've got some notes here for you, and today I'll put this together, just so you get a sort of feel from where the cab trade's coming from in London, Okay, good evening everyone, my name is Grant Davis. I'm chairman of the London Cab Drivers Club, and I've been driving a London cab now for 37 years. That's 37 years watching this city change, 37 years of sitting in traffic, and 37 years of breathing in pollution while trying to earn an honest living. Tonight, I want to give you the view from the front seat, from someone who spends every working day navigating the chaos that London roads have become. Let me be blunt, traffic congestion in London right now is worse than it has ever been in my nearly 4 decades behind the wheel, right? Journey times have gone off the scale. A journey that would take 15 minutes is taking 45 minutes, and that really, I'm not making that up. The amount of passengers I get in my taxi now who are looking at their watch and all they see is a line of brake lights and say, look, I'm going to have to jump out here, mate. I say, well, you're about 15 minutes away. They say, I can't wait the time and I can't pay what's on the fare. I mean, I've never give so many discounts in my life. I feel like a little cab driver, right? Because every time I say, look, you can't pay that. It's 21 quid on the clock, give me 15. Because we know what it should be. We're not here to scam the public. We just want to give a good, honest service that we've always done, right? So, roads that were once flowing are now gridlocked for hours on end. And here's the dirty secret no one wants to talk about. All these measures, supposedly designed to reduce congestion and improve air quality, have made things worse, not better. Anyone can see that who are out in London. And the London Cab Drivers Club, we have a sort of motto. We've used it for years. And it's a moving city is a thriving city. A gridlocked city is a dying city. And I'm telling you tonight, London is dying. It's on its last legs regarding transport. All you ever hear from TfL is another new initiative. We're going to change that and we're going to do this. Today, I was trying to drive over Lambeth Bridge. It was too beautiful, and I mean beautiful, right? Roundabouts on the south and on the north side. Beautiful, Victorian architecture, pineapples on them. Lovely, right? What have they done? They smashed them all away. Flattened the road. I think it's because you're hearing all this about driverless taxis, Waymo coming into London. Driverless taxis or driverless cars really struggle with roundabouts, right? So it's a coincidence that this mayor has brought in 20 miles an hour, which is the sort of maximum speed that these driverless taxis can get up to, right? Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but driving a cab all these years and dealing with TfL, we're there on the side of caution that I think I might be right on this one. You just concentrate in a few spaces, and that's what they're doing. You take away lanes that motorists have used for generations, and you have 2 lanes, now it's 1 lane, and then they say, look at the traffic, oh my God, we'll have to ban cars. They are creating the problem. It's so easy to see. You know, you force vehicles to sit idling, engines running, pumping out more emissions than if they were moving freely. It makes common sense, okay? And I've tried to do my bit for Londoners. I drive an electric cab, £75,000 plus interest. Eye-watering. I mean, unbelievable. Really unbelievable. And I did what they asked me. I bought into the clean air vision. But even my electric cab still relies on a petrol engine when the battery runs out. And before the electric cab was launched, they said to us, this is going to be a nirvana for cab drivers. It's going to do 200, 250 miles on a charge. People were thinking, well, hold on, let me work that out. The cab's expensive, but if I work out my fuel, I'm quids in. I'll recoup that money and be green. But my cab, I charge at home, but it does 60 miles, 65 in the winter. When I start to go to work, I put my heater on, maybe push the boat out a bit and put the rear heat winter on, and that the window seat, and that does it. You see the battery just going like that. It's a foursome. It really is. Calling it electric taxi, and I'm using the petrol engine, the generator to start. That's a fallacy, electric cabs, right? But and when I sit in gridlock caused by poorly planned road layouts, I'm just not moving. I'm just stuck behind another car in the jam, trying to make a living while my battery drains and my stress levels rise. Now let's talk about cycle lanes. And before anyone accuses me of being anti-cyclist, let me make this clear. We all want clean air, and I sit in it all day, every day. So obviously I want clean air to breathe in, right? My kids want me to breathe in air, right? So I last longer and can support my boys, yeah? Football tickets, nights out, you know what it's like, right? So we all want clean air, and we all want people to have transport choices. But what we've got in London is a disaster. Cycle lanes have been installed across the capital with barely any consultation, taking away crucial road space, and the result has been carnage for traffic flow. But here's what really gets my goat. While we motorists are persecuted for every minor infraction, while we're fined, monitored and regulated to within an inch of our lives, cyclists just seem to operate in a free-for-all zone. Yeah, it really is. Red lights, optional for many cyclists. Riding on pavements, yeah, regular. Using mobile phones while riding. I see it all the time. And please don't get me started on e-bikes and e-scooters, particularly the ones that are used for food delivery apps. These riders weave through traffic, mount payments, go the wrong way, down one-way streets, and there really is zero enforcement. The commuter cyclists racing into town every morning are amongst the worst offenders, I'm afraid. High speed, aggressive riding with no regard for traffic laws or pedestrian safety. Where are their number plates? Where is the insurance requirement? Where is the accountability? We're told cycle lanes are about safety, but all I can see are dangerous cyclists every day and no one seems to care. There's one set of rules for motorists and apparently none for cyclists. Let me tell you about being a guinea pig. Black cab drivers were told to go electric, to be trailblazers in this great capital city. Yeah? The ones who would show London how clean transport could work. So we invested, like I said, £75,000 for a vehicle. And listen, that's not pocket change for a working cabbie. That's a mortgage-sized commitment, yeah? And the trouble is, that is the only cab allowed by TfL. And we're seeing terrible numbers of drivers leaving the trade. I mean, we're predicting that we're going to lose around 900 drivers a year. And the knowledge is dead. No one's coming on the knowledge because of weak regulation by TfL with the private hire industry. They've let Uber run wild, and they are. And TfL doesn't have the stomach to take Uber on. We've seen that. Uber's got their licence twice now, but that's only by going to the court, the High Court. They've been allowed to have their licence back. You know, all we've done is play by the rules, and we've been kicked from pillar to post. That's what my dad says. Anyway, I want to go on. That's not pocket change for a working cabbie, right? So where's the infrastructure? Where are the charging points we were promised? I spend my working day worrying about range, looking for available chargers, losing earning time when I charge. And when I can't find a charger or don't have time, well, like I said, there's always the petrol backup, and that kicks in. So much for zero emissions. And here's the really big kick in the teeth. While we were making this investment, while we were doing our bit for London and Londoners for clean air, what did we get? We got undermined by TfL with over 105,000 private hire vehicles flooding onto London's roads. Uber and others were allowed to saturate the market with diesel and petrol vehicles, creating more congestion, more competition and more pollution. The black cab trade did what was asked. We invested in new technology. We committed to clean air. And we were rewarded by having our business model destroyed by private hire who face nowhere near the same regulatory burden or environmental standards. Where's the fairness in that, I ask you? It isn't about business or regulations or politics. This is about health and quality of life. I sit in pollution and congestion 10 to 12 hours a day when I'm working. It's dangerous, it's stressful. The air quality in my cab, even though it's electric, is terrible because I'm surrounded by other vehicles, all of us stuck in traffic, all pumping out emissions. The stress is real for the cab trade. The frustration is real. And it's not just me, it's every driver, every tradesperson, every professional trying to get across London just to do their job. We're suffering under policies that sound good in theory, but fall spectacularly in practice. Just to conclude, London's motorists have been abused, used and ignored for far too long. We've been cash cows for congestion charge, ULEZ fees. We've been experimented on with cycle lanes and traffic schemes that don't really work. We've been told to invest in electric vehicles without being given any infrastructure to actually make them viable. It's time someone stood up for us. It's time someone asked why cyclists seem to get a free pass while we're getting hammered. It's time someone questioned whether these policies are actually achieving anything except making life harder and more expensive for normal working people. Yeah. On that note, I thank you for listening to my tirade. Thank you.
Rather than having a sort of formal Q&A, because time is starting to tick against us, and we have some food that has been delivered, not by Deliveroo, but by the team here at City Hall. I'd like to thank our four speakers for their contributions to the discussion, but we are going to have some food, and everyone feel free to mention any topic, any questions you want to have with any of the panellists during that, and I think that's probably the best way to proceed now. If you're happy with that. But once again, thank you very much for our four speakers. Thank you for the team at City Hall for putting on the spread. Thank you hugely for Ian for helping organise from my team. And thank you, most of all, for coming.